How's it going, everyone? Just sitting here waiting for a preseason football game to come on. Finally, the time of year I like around here. Though the weather here in Florida is still feels like 100 degrees every day. But I just wanted to do a little video, some stuff I've been thinking about lately as far as, ultimately retiring, moving to the Philippines. I know I've talked about some of this stuff before. It's been quite a while. But I'm getting older, be 59 later this year. I figure I'll probably keep working at the post office. My plan has always kind of been at least to work at the post office until I'm 62. So that's another few years. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be a little longer, maybe it'll be less. But the reason I focused on 62 is because with our pension, our FERS pension at the post office, if you stay till 62, you get 1.1% per year of service. This terms, of like how your service is calculated. So say if you went at 62 with 30 years of service, you would actually get 33% of your average high 3 salary for your high 3 years. Whereas if you went earlier than that, it would be just 30%. It's only a few percent more. But of course, also at 62, you could start taking Social Security too. So that's the minimum I figure that I would ever want to leave. With a pension and Social Security, I could do okay in the Philippines, though it's not everything I would like to have. Hopefully have at least a decent little bit of savings for emergencies and so forth. But I really don't want to quit until I know that I can live comfortably without having to tap into the savings just to get by like some people have to. I just don't think it'd be a wise decision when I could still stay here and have a comfortable living and good medical benefits and everything without having to worry about anything as long as I'm working. So that got me to thinking, though, as the time closes in, if it's anything like the last few years have been, which were just a blur for me, really. Time flies so fast. Before I know it, I'll be 62, and it'll be time to make that decision maybe and go. We have a little bit of property, that my wife has over where she's from, the town where she's from, over in Mindanao. I've seen a couple other guys on YouTube lately talking about Mindanao and whether or not it's safe. The area where my wife is from seems to be pretty nice. Not usually that many problems, but really, if we could go over with a decent bit of money, we could have a place to live there and maybe have a little condo or something in Cebu City or Manila, something like that. If we want a taste of the city life, like we have here around Orlando, it's be interesting change of pace. After living here in Orlando for so long, where you've got basically the world's one of the world's favorite vacation spots, and you've got all the parks and SeaWorld and all the Disney stuff and Universal and things like that, and all the beaches that you have access to everywhere around the state. There's just a lot to do, and we're even getting a new Jollibee's here in Orlando, which is instead of having to drive over to Tampa area or Jacksonville, we could even have Jollibee. What more could you want? But it got me thinking a lot lately about the things that you really need and really care about. And for me, at least right now in my life, I think about what are the luxuries and what are the things that I just have to have. And really the only things I have to have are my apartment, a place where we can live, have a roof over my wife's head, and for our 3 cats, which are basically our children, and and my job, and my wife is working, and that's very nice, and she works very close here to where we live, so it's very convenient where we are. So really, when I look at things, I think the things that are absolute necessities that I have to have and take care of in my life, I have to have a place to live, utilities, my payment on my truck, and car insurance. As long as I have those things and my job, then things are pretty good. I have to try and keep my health. I did have hernia surgery last year. I knew it was something I probably needed to have looked at for a long time, and then I was really sick for a while, had a real high fever. They said it wasn't COVID, but it was sure felt like COVID. 102-degree fever, and then I went back to work one day, and my abs were just killing me when I got home from work that night, and I could really feel it like pushing out. And I went to the emergency room, and they was like, "Yeah, man, you need surgery." So I had to wait a few weeks because they were still trying to catch up from all the stuff that they had been putting off because of COVID. And so that, it definitely took me a while to get back to where I was feeling like myself after that. I mean, I healed up pretty quick and all that kind of thing. I went back to work. I had the sick leave, so I went ahead and 1 second, please. Okay, I'm back. I thought I saw a message on my phone that it was going to pause and then resume recording, but I guess not. Yeah, I was talking about my wife, and she was just taking her lunch break. Unfortunately, right now she usually works a lot in the evenings, which is kind of good because it's not quite as busy where she works sometimes in the evenings. But yeah, so then I'm sitting around here by myself thinking, what am I going to do, because I'm bored. So now I'm making a YouTube video. But obviously, that's the number one thing I have to have is my wife, and to keep my family together and have a place to live. But really, those just few basic things are the things I actually need to have, and that I really feel I couldn't live without. Anything else I have, I have expensive hobbies that I've wasted way too much money on, but if I had to, I could live without those things. I enjoy certain things. I enjoy playing guitar. I like going out to the shooting range and things like that. But all of those are things I'm going to, I could live without. And especially if I move to the Philippines, for sure I'll be basically living without any guns for, once I move over there, because I won't be able to have guns. But I can still have my guitar. I can still have my writing, which I used to really be seriously into, and had one of my screenplays, optioned one time by a producer, and when I was really seriously into my writing, and I got away from that. But I think, someday when I retire, that's definitely something I want to do. I know for a fact I can't just stop and sit down and do nothing. I'm used to being out delivering mail every day and working. I've been with the post office now for like 24 years, and I'm just always working. And to just stop and not do anything, I mean, for a while that would be nice, just to relax and not really be doing anything, but I can't afford to do that, especially even for my health. I always tell my wife I need to go into like distance running or something. Right now I'm out walking around all day in the heat, but I need to seriously do something to get into a more of a healthy regimen when I'm retired, to make sure I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. So there will be things like that I can find to do, and that's another reason why I'm not one of these people who just wants to stop working and not do anything. My life is pretty good right now. There are worse things if I do decide that we need to maybe push off retiring and things like that a little bit. There are worse things that could happen to you than to be stuck here in Florida with a decent job and benefits, and waiting longer to take your Social Security so you get more per month out of that. I don't really know exactly what the situation will be, but at least I know those few things that are important. And whatever happens in the meantime, I always know that those are the things I need to focus on. And I know that when I retire, those are the things that I need. And that's the important thing, because when you retire, you're not going to have that big paycheck coming in all the time to cover, going out wasting money on hobbies and stuff, on things that you don't really need, that you just feel like, I'll go out and blow some money. And if you get into a situation where you're living on just a set amount of money all the time, and there's not really any chance of saying, I'll go out and make more, or in my case at the Postal Service, we have the option of whether or not we want to be on the overtime list or not. So right now I'm on the overtime list. A lot of people, especially when it gets really, really hot around here in the summer, they get off the list. So that just means that the rest of us who are on the list are working even more. I don't know what our situation was the other day, but we were out working. I worked like, like 13, 14 hours the other day. Or no, was it like, I guess like around 12. I know in one of the neighboring towns here close to where I live, the carriers were out really late till like 10 o'clock at night. So not sure what the issue was there, but you never know when you're going to have a day like that. But I always have the option if I want to take it easy. I don't have to retire. I can just say, at least where I work, I just don't want to be on the overtime list right now and do my 40 hours a week and go home. And, still a pretty decent situation, not too stressful when you can do that. But anyways, those are the kind of things that I think everybody needs to, ask themselves if they are planning to retire, if they want to move to the Philippines, especially. You're going off to a foreign country, and if you don't have any extra income, coming in from some kind of a job or a business, you have that certain fixed amount of money that you have to live on, and you have to know what things are important to you, what things you absolutely can't live without, and you have to ask yourself, are you going to still be able to have those things and maintain all that while you are retired and living in a foreign country? A lot of people, you see a lot of these guys on YouTube over there, getting maybe just their Social Security. I'm not sure how much they're making on YouTube, things like that. But to do that and really make money at that, it's something where you got to constantly be like making videos all the time. And if you're retired, of course, maybe that's not that big a deal. It gives you something to do right there to keep your sanity, And so I don't know, maybe I'll actually start making some videos if I'm actually back over in the Philippines instead. I went up to Destin, Florida, a couple weeks ago. I recorded all kinds of stuff, and I still haven't bothered downloading that stuff from the GoPro onto my computer. And I just have so much going on that thinking about YouTube videos all the time is just really not my thing. But who knows, maybe after retirement, if I have something useful to offer and different some travel videos and stuff about the place where I'm going to be living, then I can get back into that a little bit more. But anyways, those are just my random thoughts about the subject while I'm sitting here waiting for a football game to start, and questions that everybody needs to ask if they really want to move over there. And for everybody, that's going to be different. But there are certain basics for most of us, and they usually revolve around our family, having our family together and a place to live. And you have to have some kind of income. And the other things that you have, especially if you're thinking about moving on a certain time frame, you have to ask yourself, do you still need to be pouring money into those things right now, even before you retire? It's like with me. At this point, if I'm going to retire in a few years, and that's really a serious possibility, how much money should I be spending buying more guitars? How much money should I be spending buying more guns that I'm not going to be able to take with me? Things like that. And like I say, it's going to be here before I know it. I know. It's just, someday I'm going to wake up and it's going to be time. And these few years coming up now, I have to really make wise decisions. And it's the same thing for anyone out there. If you're thinking about going, you need to make plans, because the time does fly, and you got to focus on the basics, the things that really matter. And that way you can set yourself up for success, once you actually get there. Anyways, I'm going to watch the football game, and I'll talk to you guys later.